Blast your opponents off the court with the Solinco Whiteout 305 XTD V2. New for the second edition of this racket, Arch 2 construction is present, offering an innovative layup that boosts stability and power. Other features include 40T carbon fiber at 3 and 9 o'clock, helping make the sweet spot feel big and the frame feel stable. Solid and precise, players will find a bit more control than the Blackout Extended and a touch more plow through than the standard length Whiteout. If I'm remembering correctly, I really enjoyed the previous version of this racket, and I didn't think Solinco needed to tweak a lot to make it much better, and thankfully they didn't mess up a good thing, and this racket is playing amazing. Right off the bat, I completely found harmony hitting with this one. It did feel a tiny bit crisper than that previous version. If you guys know my personal taste, that doesn't bother me at all whatsoever. I hit it next to the E-Zone 98 Plus a lot and was trying to figure out which of those two extended length rackets I liked best. It was tough. It was a toss-up, to be completely honest. They differentiate in terms of feel, but both rackets really allow me to hit through my shots and find really easy depth in the court. Tons of plow through and mass behind the ball. On serves, I really could carve into my opponents with big first serves. I was enjoying the access to spin, and at net, it's super stable as well on returns. I really appreciated this playtest. I find the string spacing to work really well. We've played a bunch of different string setups, and Troy even put in a Solinco Hyper G hybrid in this one. He'll tell you about that later, but I was really getting dialed with this racket, especially this setup in particular. I really have no complaints. I actually wanted to put this into the top 5 rackets for me right now. I don't love the cosmetic, I'm not gonna lie. The camo is not for me. However, this is one that I'm gonna keep hitting through the year.
I was a huge fan of the version 1 Whiteout from Solinco, so I was really curious to see what this version 2 felt like, especially because the geometry hasn't really changed all that much. The main difference here is going to be the internals. So overall, the RA has been lowered to offer a more flexible feeling. And I will say that compared to its predecessor, this extended racket does feel extremely solid upon contact. I played a lot with the 18x20 variant of the previous XTD Whiteout from Solinco, so this one is naturally going to have a little bit more pop and spin compared to that denser bed. That being said, I do really enjoy the control factor that the traditional box beam geometry offers. I do think though that there are some negatives and positives with this update. First, if you're looking for a little bit more of a connected feel from that slightly stiffer feeling, a little bit more direct feedback, this racket isn't going to have quite as much of that. That being said, if you like additional ball pocketing for shaping your ball through the shot, I do think this is where this racket actually shines. Up at the net, volleys are a little bit of a split mind experience for me when I'm using an extended length frame, just because I feel like the maneuverability factor is definitely lower. But you do have increased reach, which can, encourage going for larger margins, bigger overheads, that kind of thing, more putaways. And then on the baseline, I did enjoy this racket when returning. I felt like it had ample control to sort of shape my shots, pick aggressive spots. But one area where I would have liked a little bit more precision overall would have been the serve. Typically, extended length rackets really shine in this department, and I did have some difficulty finding this one to be wholly workable for me. That being said, I'm extremely excited for the 18x20 variant of this frame, but this definitely is a must try if you like extended length rackets.
The Solinco Whiteout 305s have been among my very favorite 98-305 combination of frames, and this one here, the extended version with the open pattern, definitely is included in that batch. Now, a lot of what I saw on paper was the stiffness came down a little bit, and so did the swing weight. I could tell from any part of the court. I was feeling the more maneuverable aspects of this frame, but I didn't really feel that it was any less stiff. I would call it very firm, comfortable. You're getting an energy return, not so much in the way that, say, a Blackout or a Pure Drive would give you, but definitely from the extra length, firm layup of graphite, and that open pattern, you're getting a lot of easy depth. So from the baseline, this racket was pretty nearly ideal for me. I was able to kind of keep my opponents on their toes and running side to side. I wasn't hitting crazy angles, but again, shot depth, gauging where my shots were going to go was very easy from the baseline. My favorite shot was probably my backhand slice. No matter what string setup was in this racket, I seemed to be able to feel connected to the ball and my shots. And overall, I'm definitely adding this to my list of not just my favorite frames that are extended, but just my list of favorite frames overall.
I was excited to play test this update of the Whiteout Extended. I was on the previous version as well as the 28-inch model from the previous line, as well as the racket that I typically play with, a Yonex extended racket. So pretty familiar here with those longer rackets. I did notice a slight difference in the feel with this update compared to version 1. Maybe just a slight lower stiffness and maybe just a bit difference in the feel. But I would say it still kind of has that firm crispness to it. Kind of reminds me of some old Technofiber T-Fights or Babolat Pure Strikes. So if you like those firmer frames, but also want to try something maybe a little bit longer, something to give you a little more leverage, a little more power, this is a great one to look at. I did notice the open string pattern. It's pretty openly spaced, so you get easy launch angle, easy spin on serves and on ground strokes. Maybe a little launchy, as we say at times. So hopefully Solinco will come out with an 1820 version in this version 2. I think that's gonna be the sweet spot for me. But I really liked it. I love the precision of the head size. Up at net, it felt nice and precise, nice and crisp. From the baseline though, I would go with a thicker gauge, like a 16 or maybe even like a 15L, just to try to rein in a little bit of control from this string spacing. And other than that, I'd probably weight up this racket closer to like a 315 or a 320 unstrung. For this review, we tried a bunch of different Solinco co-poly strings. Today we have the Solinco Hyper G mains with the Hyper G round hybrid, as well as a Solinco prototype strung at 52 pounds. For more information on this racket or anything tennis related, be sure to head to Tennis Warehouse, Tennis Warehouse Europe, or Tennis Only.